Okay. So, good morning. It's morning time. 7 o'clock feels really early to me after doing these at 8 so consistently, but it just is so good to be here. I'm glad to have friends to do yoga with me. This month we've been talking about joy, and um, we've talked about kind of things that help us facilitate joy, that we've got all these layers that are on top of our innate joy that just is a part of us. And we have to kind of peel those back. And some of the ways that we do that, I talked about finding meaning in the mundane, just in the everyday, um, just living with gratitude and finding gratitude in all circumstances. And as I've been just studying and reading the Sermon on the Mount and going through the words of Jesus this past few days, I just thought, this is the recipe for joy. The words of Jesus, that's the recipe for joy. And so I've been making a list of what followers of Jesus do. In my own words, just kind of going through the Sermon on the Mount. So I just thought I'd read some of the things from this list because it really is the things that we've been talking about almost in every class, right? Are things that Jesus has taught. True disciples of Jesus Christ are humble and meek, hunger and thirst after righteousness, and are merciful, are pure in heart, don't worry about what others think of them, are examples that glorify God, repent. They don't use angry words toward others. They resolve harsh feelings and disagreements with others privately without gossiping and rehashing and spreading it. They cultivate pure thoughts. They watch what's happening in their brains, right? We talk about that in here all the time. They do what they say they will do. They live with integrity and show up for themselves and for others. They're generous, give willingly to the poor, turn the other cheek, and love everyone and pray for everyone and holding everyone in their heart and trying to see everyone as Heavenly Father sees them. Disciples of Jesus Christ are whole and complete through Christ, who fills up all of those cracks and crevices. They forgive and are forgiven. Consider the abundance and the beauty of nature and trust that God will supply everything that we need. They seek for the kingdom of God. And in Luke 17, verse 21, he says, the kingdom of God is within you. He says you're going to look for all these things outside of you, but the kingdom of God is within you. Disciples of Christ live in the present moment. And they don't judge themselves and they don't judge others. But they are self-aware. They see things clearly as they are without comparison, right? There's not any comparison. And they see their life and the things in it as gifts. Right? That's the recipe for joy. To watch our thoughts get out of our own way. Find some pleasure in the abundance of nature. And it's just a list, right? And when we focus on those things, that's when our innate joy is easily accessed. So that's my invitation for you today, is just to ponder that recipe for joy, to be living in the present moment and realize that that kingdom of God is within you. Let's see. As we move today, I've got a few things. I've got a couple of blocks and a strap. So if you have a strap or a belt or a dish towel or something, that will be helpful. But we're going to go ahead and start on our backs and have your strap handy, or belt, or whatever. Your arm extender hat handy. Find your way to your back. You can just have your knees bent and let your knees kind of rest on each other so that you're supported in your lower back. Bring your hands to your belly, and one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. And see if you can find a sense of an inner smile behind your eyes, in your mouth and throat, in your heart space. And then we'll just center with a few 3-part breaths. And so breathe in and let your belly expand. Then let your rib cage expand, and then expand all the way into your collarbones. And then exhale in 3 parts: collarbones, rib cage, belly. Inhale, belly, rib cage, collarbones. And exhale, collarbones, rib cage, belly. And just follow that pattern as you just let yourself get into your breath and into your body. And after a complete exhale, release your hands. Open your eyes if they were closed. Grab your strap. Well, actually, just bring your right knee into your chest and loop your hands behind your hamstring. And then just bend and straighten that right leg. Keep your left knee bent, foot flat on the floor. We're just starting to get into this right leg, and you can let it be as far away from you. And if holding it in here and trying to straighten your leg is just too much, you can use your strap around that thigh. But we're just bending and straightening. And we'll work a little bit on the articulation of your knee. So when your knee is bent, see if you can rotate from like your shin internally and then straighten your leg. And when it gets straight, rotate your shin externally and bend. So internally, see if you can really move from your shin and not just your ankle, and then externally. And one direction is probably, it's easier for me to do that external with my shin, but it's good practice just to get those lower leg bones to try to move. And then we'll switch. So externally and then straight, and then internal and bend. External, bring to straight, internal and bend. And find your strap. Loop your strap over your foot, lengthen that leg. And you know, it's early in the morning. I'm always stiff first thing in the morning. So you don't feel like you need to touch your foot. Find the natural curves of your spine, and maybe you can lengthen that left leg on the floor if your spine. Um, you can keep your lower back off the floor. We're just breathing into the back of that right leg. And then bring both straps into your right hand. Just turn those right toes slightly to the right. Keep your left hip grounded and open that right leg out to the right. If you're feeling this in your knee, find a little bend in your knee or back out a little bit. We're not rocking. This should be an inner thigh. Lengthener. And then come back up through center. Switch the grip, bring both straps into your left hand. Just bring your right arm out to the right and then find a twist. And you can loosen up on your strap. You can bend through that right knee. Look to your right. Just let yourself twist and then see if you can lengthen the space from your right armpit to your right outer hip. So kind of dialing that hip down toward your left heel. And then come back up. Bend that right knee. Just move your strap to where you can reach it when you need it. Right foot on the floor. Loop your hand behind your left thigh. And just start with just a regular bend and straighten. And you can play with pointing, flexing. We'll just get a little bit of dynamic movement in the back of that leg. And next time you're flexed, see if you can internally rotate that whole lower leg and then straighten. Externally rotate and bend. So you're trying not to move your thigh bone. And it does just take practice. And you may be moving your ankle more than you're moving your shin. And it's just, right, we're just trying to wire our brains there to that capacity for those bones to pivot at your knee joint. Okay, next time you get down, externally rotate and straighten, and then internally rotate and bend. Externally rotate and straighten, internally rotate and bend. And then next time you come down, just release your hands, find your strap around your foot, and lengthen. And find the natural curves of your spine, just a little space under your lower back. And if you can maintain that and lengthen your right leg, feel free. If that really pushes your lower back into the floor, just keep your right knee bent, foot flat on the floor. And breathe some space into the back of that left leg. And then bring both straps into your left hand. Just slightly turn those toes to the left. I like to bring my right hand to my hip just to remind I'm not rocking over to the left. I'm just opening that leg out. And if you need to find a little bend in your knee so you're not feeling this in your inner knee, or if you just need to back out, just let this be an inner thigh, inner hamstring experience. And then come back up through center, switch straps to the other side. And we'll go the other way. Just find your twist. You can look to your left. And bend that left knee as much as you need to. And come back up through center. Release your strap. Find a happy baby pose. Just kind of find some compression in your low belly and your hips. Just both knees bent. Grab those outer feet. And rock a little bit. And then we're going to get straight into moving, and we're just going to move and move. So rock forward. See if you can find yourself on your hands and knees. We'll just do a tiny bit of cat and cow and wrist prep. So let your belly drop. Inhale, look up. Exhale, push the floor away. Inhale. With your exhale, push and round, but then tuck your toes and just hover your knees. So you're really drawing it in through your core. And then let your knees come down as you inhale and drop your belly. Completely relax your belly and let your pelvic floor relax there. And then as you exhale and round, push the floor away, let your knees hover. Let's just move there for 1 or 2 more. And then turn your wrists around any amount. Maybe bend your elbows a little bit. They can be out to the sides. And then just kind of play here with load on your hands in a whole bunch of different directions. And then we'll tuck our toes, lift your hips back and up and find your first downward facing dog. And pedal your legs out. Experiment with your shoulders here. So pull your shoulders away from your ears and then let your shoulders shrug up towards your ears. See if you can feel your shoulder blades sliding on your back. And just move them up and down. You can draw them toward each other. You can spread them apart. Maybe find some circles. And just kind of play and warm your shoulders here. And then come onto your tippy toes, bend your knees, and we'll take a walk up to the top of your mat. Soften your knees and inhale, find your halfway lift. Look forward, flat back. Exhale and fold. Inhale, just come all the way to standing, reach high. And exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale and reach high. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale your left foot back into a lunge. Exhale your left knee down. And then from here, lift that right heel and really engage that lower leg. And then lower. Walk your hands back if you need to. Bring that right leg towards straight and flex your foot. So we'll move there. Rock forward. Lift your right heel. And then rock back. Flex that right foot. Move at your own pace. You can go as fast or as slow as you want. We're just going to go back and forth here. One last time. Exhaling forward. And plant your hands and then step this right foot back into a table. Tuck your toes and then hover. So this lifted knee table or a beast, I like to call it. Take your right knee and just tap it towards your right elbow. And then bring those right toes down. Stay hovering, left knee to left elbow. Let's do one more time on each side. Right and left. And then lift your hips up and back. Find your downward facing dog. Pedal it out if you need to. And then lift your right leg up and back. Bend your knee and then stack that right hip over your left. So you find a big twist. You can open through the front of that thigh and then look underneath your left armpit. You might even wave at yourself with your foot. And then release. Do the same thing on the other side. Just open up through those hip flexors. Inhale that left leg. Bend your knee. Open your hip. Then look under your right armpit. Maybe wave at yourself with your foot. And then lower down. Inhale onto tippy toes, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees, make your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale to standing, reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right foot back into your lunge. Exhale your right knee down. And then just lift that left heel. So you're going to engage here. And then drop it down, straight into that left leg. Now, if you need your hands on blocks, if you want to just walk your hands back with you, you do you. But just move through this, lifting that heel and then straightening your leg. And one last time. Plant your hands, come to table, and then tuck your toes, hover your knees. And so you knit those lower ribs in, push the floor away, let your shoulder blades be wide on your back. Okay. And then we'll start with the left knee. This time, bring your left knee, maybe tap your upper arm, and then hover back. Right upper arm and back. Each side, one more time. And then lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Adjust your stance if you need to. And then just find the connection of your hands. The floor, you might even shift weight from one hand to the other. Notice what feels most responsive for your hand position. And then lift that left leg up. Bend your knee, open your hip. You can look under that right armpit and find a little bit of lift through that right shoulder. And then switch sides. Right leg up. And bend your knee, open your hip. You can look under your left armpit. Lower down. Inhale. Exhale, soften your knees. Take a walk to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale all the way to standing, reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. Bring your weight into your right foot. Lift your left knee up. And then bring that left knee out to the side. Draw that heel back behind you. And bring your knee forward. One more time that direction. And then switch. Lead with your heel. Push that heel back. Bring that knee out to the side and forward. Push your heel back. Knee out to the side and forward. And then soften into that right knee. Cross your ankle over your right knee and just sit down in a figure 4. And then from here, we'll unthread that left leg, take a big step back and find warrior 2. So just ground and then open your arms. Inhale to reverse your warrior. And then exhale, find a side angle pose. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And then we'll find a goddess toward the long edge of your mat. So take that left heel in, right toes in slightly. and then sit down. You can shift a little bit from side to side. And we'll swim here a little bit. So bring your left forearm to your left thigh, right arm alongside your ear. So like a side angle pose. And then just swim that right arm forward and end the other way. Right forearm on your left thigh. Reach that left arm up. Go back to your left side. Push those knees back. And switch sides. Straighten both legs, come on up. Turn those right toes to the right. Left heel back. Draw your right outer hip back and let's find triangle pose. You can float or hover your right hand inside your calf. Reach your left arm up. And just find the strength in your lower body here. So this isn't your deepest triangle. It's a stable one. Take one more round of breath here. And then exhale. Hands to the floor inside your right foot. Lift your left heel. And just toe heel that left foot out. Your right foot, sorry. Right foot out to the outer edge of your mat. And then bring your left knee down. Reach your heart forward. And shift your hips a little from side to side. If it feels available to you, it's pretty early in the practice, you may bring your elbows to the floor or to a block and get a little more opening in that hip. And then come back up. Toe heel that right foot in between your hands. Lift your left knee and then step that left foot about 12 inches closer and ground your heel like you would for warrior one. And then draw your right outer hip back to straighten through that right leg. And this may be a place where blocks come in handy. But I want you to think of the back of your pelvis as a table here. A place where, we could set like a whole tea service and you wouldn't knock anything over. Push down into your right big toe ball mound, draw back through your right outer hip and reach your heart forward. Just take one more breath. Bend into that right knee. If you've got blocks, you can move them out of the way. Step back into a plank. And then take your right knee towards your right elbow and step back to your plank. Left knee towards your left elbow and then back. And then just pull the floor to you to come all the way down. Take your right hand forward toward the right top corner of your mat. Left hand back by your ears, back by your ribs. Push into your hands and then look over your left shoulder. And then just switch sides. Left hand forward, right hand back. Lift up and look over your shoulder. Now you're not crunching into your lower back. Okay. All right. Sorry, had some sound issues. So now we're going to do our circles on the other side. So inhale and lift your right knee. Bring your right knee out to the right. Lead with your heel and reach back. And the knee forward. Out to the right. Lead with your heel and reach back. And then switch directions. Lead with your heel, push back. Knee out to the right and forward. Lead with your heel. And then out to the right. Come forward, soften into that left knee. Cross your right ankle over your knee and find your figure four. Flex through that right foot and find a lift through your left arch that's grounded on the floor. And we'll take a big step back with your right leg and find your warrior two. And settle in. Inhale to reverse your warrior. And then exhale, left forearm on left thigh. Find your warrior two. Your side angle pose. Push into that right heel, lengthen out through your fingertips. And then back up to your warrior two. And then a big goddess squat toward the long edge of your mat. Right heel in, left toes in just a little bit. And then right forearm to right thigh, left arm alongside your ear. And then just swim forward. You can come through a little bit of a curved spine. Left forearm on your right, on your left thigh, right arm alongside your ear. And just go at your own pace. Just swim back and forth there. And try to stay committed to the bend in your knees. Let's go back. Left side. And then come through center. Straighten both legs. Turn those left toes to the left, right toes in. Straighten through that left leg. Draw that left outer hip back, reach. And then just float your left hand inside of your calf for really strong and stable triangle pose. And just breathe here, open. One more in breath. And then exhale, hands down inside of that left foot. Lift your right heel, just toe heel that left foot out to the left. Bring your right knee down. If it feels available, you could bring your forearms to the floor. But let this feel really good in your pelvis and your lower back. If it feels like a lot of strain, then just stay up on your hands. You can bring a block under your forearms too. And breathe some wiggles in there. And then come back up on your hands. Shimmy that left foot in between your hands. Lift your right knee and then step that right foot about 12 inches closer and ground your heel. And then draw this left outer hip back to bring your left leg towards straight. If you want your hands on blocks or something, find that. Push into your left big toe ball mound and then draw that left outer hip back as you reach out through the crown of your head. And breathe some length into the back of that left leg. And one more round of breath here. You've got your blocks. You can move them out of the way. Plant your hands, step back into your plank. And then left knee to left elbow. Step back. Right knee to right elbow. Step back. And then this time cross. Left knee to right elbow. Step back. Right knee to left. Step back. Pull the floor towards you. Come all the way down. And this time, just keep your hands where they are, but float them off the floor. Engage your whole upper back. Find that engagement, keep it. Put your hands on the floor and inhale, lift your heart into cobra. Feel like you're dragging your hands back. And then lower down. Tuck your toes, make your way up through table or straight to plank. And then downward facing dog. Inhale high onto your tippy toes. Exhale, bend your knees. Step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way to standing, reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. We'll go through that again, just a little bit faster. And we'll do tree pose instead of those hip circles. Lift your left knee and bring it out to the left. And you can use your hand if you need to. Bring your foot above or below your knee and hug everything in towards center. So you're pushing that right leg into your foot into your leg. And from there, grow up through the roof of your mouth. And find that inner smile, that like sense of buoyant joy, and reach your arms high. Take one more breath in, and we'll take a big step back with that left foot and find your warrior two. And just settle in. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Exhale into your side angle pose. Maybe hand comes down a little lower this time. Maybe to the floor, or hold your inner ankle. And then we'll just find that goddess side angle to the left. So rearrange your feet, reach that right arm, and then back and forth. Come upright, turn those right toes to the right, left toes in, and find that hovering triangle. Root down through that left heel, lengthen through the crown of your head, and then exhale, hands down inside of that right foot. Lift that left heel, toe heel your right foot to the right. You can keep your back knee up or down. You can have your forearms up or down. But just breathe briefly here. Lengthen through your heart wherever you are. And then hands to the floor. Bring that foot in between your hands. Step your left foot in just a little bit and ground through your heel. Draw that right outer hip straight back to bring your right leg straight. Hands on blocks or the floor. And you can play with kind of swaying your hips a little bit here. And you might feel kind of the flossing through the different ropes of those hamstrings. Bend into that right knee, plant your hands. Inhale to your plank. Exhale to lower. And then float your hands, engage your back body. Plant your hands. Lift your heart. Tuck your toes. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale onto your tippy toes. Exhale, bend your knees, step or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to standing, reach high. Exhale, hands to your heart. Plant through that left foot. Inhale your right knee up. And then right knee out to the side. You'll bring your foot to your inner calf or to your inner thigh. No pressure on your knee. Hug everything towards center. Feel like you've got a rod from that left heel up through the roof of your mouth. And then reach your branches. And find that inner smile. And then big step back with that right foot. Find your warrior two. Settle there. And then inhale to reverse. Exhale, side angle pose. Maybe that left hand comes toward the floor or holds your inner left ankle or forearm to thigh. And then as you exhale, shift your feet, heels in, toes out, bend into that right knee and find your goddess side angle. And then back to the left. And then swim back to the right. And then back to the left. Lengthen both legs. Turn your toes, set up for your triangle. Left outer hip back. Float that left hand inside your left calf and reach up. Let yourself really expand and feel stable. So feel the strength of that left hamstring. Feel like you're pulling that left heel back toward your right foot. And then cartwheel your hands down inside that left foot. Toe heel that foot out to the left. You can keep your back knee lifted or bring it to the floor. You can bring your forearms to the floor to a block. Wherever you're at, let your heart feel open. Feel some breadth, some broadness through your collarbones. And then come back up onto your hands. Bring that foot between your hands. Step your right foot in just a little bit, ground your heel, and then straighten through that left leg. Hands on blocks or the floor. Push into that left big toe ball mound. Draw that left outer hip back. Lengthen through your heart. And you can find that little swaying of your hips from side to side. Find any amount of softness behind your knee that feels supportive for you and just gives you a little more freedom. And then from here, we're just going to step forward into our Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. And while you're down here toward the floor, find your strap. And just have your strap in your hand. So you inhale and come all the way to standing. We've been playing with our balance, playing with that hamstring length. So now we're going to do it all standing. So you'll take your strap. This is what we did laying on the floor. So lift that right knee into your chest. And then you can loop your strap around your right foot. Okay. And then pause here. Root down into that left heel. And find that connection up that whole leg, up through your spine, up through the roof of your mouth. And then push your foot into your strap to bring your leg towards straight any amount. So it may come this much. You may straighten it. And find a drishti, something to look at, and lengthen through that right leg. And then we'll bring both of those straps into the right hand. You can bring your left hand to your hip or out to the side. And then open that right leg out to the right. So you're going to open out. And then come back to center. Switch your grip with your strap. And then you might twist. You can just reach that right arm back and keep your gaze exactly where it was. Or you can challenge your balance and maybe look back. And then release your strap, bend through that knee, unwind. And swim that right leg straight back. and find warrior 3. Maybe reach your arms straight forward or hands at your heart. And then step back into a high lunge. Reach your arms high. And then exhale, hands down. Inhale to your plank. You can exhale straight to downward facing dog, or you can move through lowering and opening your heart if that feels necessary. It's a way different experience when I talk through that balance. Inhale onto your tippy toes, look forward. Exhale, make your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and grab your strap. Come up to standing and then bend that left knee in and just loop your strap around your foot. Now, if your big toe is available, you can do that. But kind of like the strap. Find your balance. Feel the foundation of that right foot. And then push your foot into the strap to bring your leg towards straight. And slowly calm your breath. And find that place with soft focus that you can steady your gaze on. And then bring both straps into your left hand. Right hand on your right hip or out to the side. And you can bring that left leg out to the side. And then come back to center. Switch your grip. And find your twist open. You can just reach your arm back. Keep your gaze where it is. Or you can look back. Unwind yourself. Bend into that left knee. You can drop your strap. Find your warrior 3. Hands at your heart. Hands straight forward. And then bend that right knee, step back. High lunge. Exhale, hands down. Inhale to plank. You can lower through and open your heart or just go straight back to downward facing dog. Collect yourself here or child's pose. Whatever your breath needs. And then we'll make our way to a cross-legged seat. So just sit with whatever shin in front is your natural one. And we'll do one more core exercise. I'm gonna use my blocks since I have them. You can do this without blocks. We all have a little bit different geometry, like my torso to arm ratio. Like my palms don't even touch the floor, but I have friends who like their elbows are bent if they touch the floor, right? We're all a little bit different here. But we're gonna practice low lasana, which is an arm balance where we're just sitting and work on lifting our seat up off the floor. So you can do this with blocks. You can do this with just your hands on the floor. You can do this with fists. If I'm doing this without blocks, I have to use fists. So plant your hands or fists a little bit forward of your hips, okay? And you're gonna lean forward and just lift your bum up off the floor. Okay, so just try that a couple of times. Or you can do it with blocks. Okay. And just feel that lift in your belly, okay? So either hands on the floor, fists on the floor, hands on blocks. And then you can try to float your feet. And then come on down. And it may all just happen in your imagination, but I think it's fun to try. It's called scales pose, right? Because you kind of are swinging like a set of scales. Switch the cross of your legs and just play with it again. So you could have hands on blocks, hands or fists on the floor. Play with just finding that, that scoop in. So you're feeling this like from your pelvic floor, lifting all the way up through the roof of your mouth. Or you can play with floating your feet. And then just move your blocks all the way and be done with that fun play. Lengthen your right leg out. We'll do Janu Shirshasana here. So left foot in like your tree pose. Knee and toes point up in that right foot. And then aim your heart toward that right shin. Lengthen through your spine. And let yourself fold. You can find a little bit of movement here. And you can find some movement in the back of your leg as you move with your breath. You can think of like pulling your heel in to pull your heart forward. And then lengthening the back of your knee. Just a little pulsation. But then find somewhere where you can just be still. And you can always use your strap here. You can hold on to your foot if you want. I'm just liking this framing. I'm just letting myself find my natural range of motion without trying to pull myself into anything. And then come on up. Just bend into that right knee and switch sides. Left leg out. Right foot in. And then aim your heart toward that left shin. Your knee and toes are pointing straight up. And then lead with your heart to fold. And you can find that little sense of pulsing here a little bit. You can feel like you're pulling that left heel in and feel the engagement of those muscles as you reach your heart forward. And you can push through the back of that knee. And you can let those movements get smaller and smaller. And then go ahead and come on up. Bend through that left knee. And then make your way with your bum to the center of your mat. And just hold on to the backs of your thighs to lower yourself down with control. And when you get there, just let yourself settle. Set yourself up for a round of bridge pose. So feet hip distance apart, draw those shoulder blades together, and really think we did a lot of engagement of our core and hip flexors. So let this bridge pose really be an opening for the front of those hip flexors as you lift your hips. So engage through your back body. You can feel like you're pulling your heels toward you. Engage through your hamstrings. You can find some engagement in your glutes. You're just not gripping them so much that you're breaking, cracking a nut or something. And after you've settled here for a breath or two, you could rearrange your arms, maybe clasp hands underneath you and draw your shoulder blades closer to each other. Or you can come out, take a break, and then come back in. Just kind of listen to what your body would like to do. Let's see if you can breathe that 3-part breath here in your bridge. Breathe in and out of your nose. And just take 2 more breaths. Got your hands clasped, release, and then just let your pelvis just kind of sway from side to side. And just push into one heel, then the other, and then gradually let yourself lower your hips down as you just sway your way down. And you can keep that swaying. And just windshield wiper your knees from side to side. Spread your feet a little bit further apart. And then find the place to center yourself at the ending of your practice. Maybe that's staying laying down, and your feet together, knees wide, legs long. Or you could end seated and just take a few moments in a loving kindness meditation, whether you're on your back or seated. Just bring yourself into your awareness. And just wish yourself well. May I be at peace. May I be happy and free. May I see myself through the eyes of divine love. You can bring everyone in your household to your awareness. Just let that energy of your heart just kind of expand. And think of your aura or your arms, their reach, just encompassing everyone in your household. May you be at peace. May you be happy and free. May you see yourself through the eyes of divine love. And broaden that circle just to encompass your community that you live in. And broaden that circle to encompass the country, this hemisphere, and the whole world. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be free from suffering. May all be happy and free. May all see themselves through the eyes of divine love. Just find that inner smile. The divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Namaste. And thank you for practicing with me today.